morning. Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'll be giving you a prediction reading for the 30th of April. If you are new, please subscribe. If you'd like to, hit the like buttons, guys. That helps me a lot. And please feel free to comment. We've built a little community of like-minded people here on my channel. So I'll close my eyes, guys. We'll get started. Another rainy day here, so I'm inside again, guys. It's very wintry today. So I hope you guys are finally getting some sunshine if you're living overseas, because I know you've had some pretty long and harsh winter over there. So in Canada and America and England and Wales and Sweden. So fingers crossed you start to get some nice weather, guys. All right, let's get started and we'll see what comes up. Oh, just wanted to quickly mention too that suddenly there's a lot of talk around Elbow and his immigration policies are failing. So there's a lot of talk about migration and how they're just letting people into the country. Isn't that coincidental that all these leaders seem to be having migration issues and it's not even a big deal, is it? So we do have to question a lot of these things that are going on globally. It seems a bit coincidental now that it's all being talked about here in Australia as well. Not just Canada, not just America. There's a lot going on. All right. So that could be one of the reset things is obviously migration. We do have a lot of questions, don't we, guys? All right, let's get started. I just wanted to mention that because I think it's a little bit coincidental that we're all having migration issues. All right, that's just started here in Australia. Okay. Oh God, they're showing me like a judge in a courtroom and he's banging that little hammer thing down. Bang. The court proceedings like begin. The laws are being laid down. That's just what I'm getting globally. The laws are getting tougher. Well, we know if Jacinda's got anything to do with it, no one will be able to speak out against their government. Now that she's over in Harvard in America. But I do feel like the laws are going to be laid down now. So I'm guessing there should be more bills passed globally. I think some of you were mentioning Trudeau's passed things. We know Biden would have. Sushi definitely, and I'm thinking Elbow's probably right up there in Hippo. So I'm getting a lot of this law passing now. The judges is like hammering, whatever that means when he's finalising things, just finalising the new laws is what I'm getting. Oh, this can't be good. Can't be good. Oh my God. Anyway, I am getting that, and that's globally. That's just not one country. That's everybody. Everyone's going to start running with the same law book. It's kind of just, this is an image. They're showing me a big law book. And all the laws are going to be kind of the same. So it's I guess you could say it's the one world law book. So we're all on the same page. Okay, let's keep going. I'm getting that like a lot of places now are turning into third world countries. I mean, once upon a time you'd get ads on your TV, you know, it was always Africa, people starving in Africa or whatever, or different things like this. But now I'm actually feeling that this is growing more and more in all of our countries. We know in America it definitely is. There's tent cities, all this kind of thing. I'm guessing that would be happening in Canada. We know, God, there's so many places. Is it Chicago, California? They're like cleaning places up. But there's more of this third world country energy that's starting to roll in now. And this would be Australia, it'd be everywhere because people are being taken down to nothing. They actually, oh yes, forgot to mention in Australia now they're bringing out, Elbow's bringing out his wonderful housing packages. Isn't that a lovely surprise? And you're allowed to actually go in now with your relatives and your nieces and nephews or whatever. You can all buy a house together and you'll still get the discount, 20% or whatever it is, discount, or I don't even know, 20,000 off your house or something like that, because that is your reward. If you buy a new home or you whatever, buy a home, I think it is, you get a $20,000 reward. So the reward systems are starting in Australia, all a little confusing. They just brush over it, but, you know, basically we know how it's going to go. The government's going to pretty much own your home long term. It's all a trap, like the fly fishing they're reeling people in. Well, I reckon they're reeling them in about buying houses. That's definitely starting to happen here in Australia. It's all a big trap. Like I said, the Venus flytrap plant that eats the fly. Everything's going to be a big trap. It's weird. It's so weird, guys, being on the outside of all this and looking at it from like above or a better vantage point, isn't it? Because you can see it really clearly, but I think when people are trapped in it, they just can't see it. They can't piece this together still. A lot of people are. Maybe not with the jab wheel. We always say that here. I know a lot of us cannot believe the depth and the extent that people are trapped in the jab psychosis. It's unbelievable. But we just leave them to that. That's just not our journey, is it? So that's their choice to make. But they are waking up about a lot of other things. All right, let's keep going. I'm still getting this storybook. And I'm getting the one day. You know how often you'll open a book, especially a children's book, and it starts with one day or once upon a time. It's that kind of standard thing. And it's given me the one day there was a man called, I'll say Cotton Schwab here. We know who that is, Santa Claus. And he tried to take over the world. So they're showing me this introduction to this story. And there's many, many pages are like flicking over. It's like the wind's flicking over the pages of this storybook. But there's no end to the story. There's no end to the story. Oh, that doesn't sound good. But that's not what it's saying. It's saying the end of the story hasn't been written yet. We often talk about here, about in our minds, writing a book, Escape from Clown World and Journeying to Terabella, which is the awakening process that we've woken up and we found Terabella, which is our beautiful part of the world, our beautiful earth that we found to escape all this nonsense and rubbish that's been going on and being fed to us constantly. But this story, it's just saying once upon a time there was a man called Cotton Schwab and he tried to take over the world. And then the pages are like flicking in the wind really quickly. It's like it's just turning. But it's like an invisible ending to the book. There's no end yet. We haven't got there yet. There is no end to the book. And this could be that he's got, as we know here, more plans, because I keep saying there's more to this reset rolling out. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if the migration issues are something to do with this reset. It seems a bit coincidental that we're all going through very strange migrant experiences. But I am getting this, that the books just, the pages are flicking in the wind, but it's like suddenly the book sort of becomes like invisible and there's no end to the book. So I guess that in a way kind of means that there's no outcome to the story yet. We haven't reached the end of the story. Is there really an end to the story? Maybe not. Maybe we're rewriting the story by being awake, and then we all write our own chapters in the story, because we do create our own reality. We talk here a lot about manifesting, and what you put your mind on, you get more of. But I am getting this visual of the book. You know, I often say here, and the guides often tell us that in years to come, we're going to look back and we're going to be reading this story to our children. And I guess if you think about it, if you're writing that book, it's what's the outcome going to be? Like, is it going to be that suddenly all these Braveheart freedom fighters came together and they fought these evil dictators, and they became stronger and stronger in numbers, and they stood up against them, and they managed to create some collapse. You know, maybe I'm just saying this is maybe the story and the outcome. You guys might have a different idea what the outcome might be. You know, let us know down below if you got some thoughts on it. But this is my point, is we can still write this story because we've chosen to remove ourselves from it, because we don't want to go down that destructive path, and we don't want to be in a dictatorship. We don't want to live like that. So this book is still being written. That's really what I'm getting. It's still being written. God, I'm getting that song. Of course, we've got to get a song. It's written in the wind, oh, everywhere I go. Who sings that? You know I love you, I always will. Da-da-da, and the way that I do. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. Oh, my love, I can't pretend It's written in the wind. Such a pretty song, that. I'm trying to think who sings it. I can't think who sings it. But it is a pretty song. And I think those words are very significant to our, our little cotton swab story. One day there was a man called Cotton Swab. But it's written in the wind. See, if you think about it, it's those pages flicking in the wind. The book isn't finished yet. It's not over. And then I'm getting that song by, is it Lenny Kravitz? It's not over till it's over. Oh, we get so much music here, don't we, guys? I'm sure that's Lenny Kravitz, isn't it? Many tears I cry, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, but it ain't over till it's over. So it's not over yet. That's just what I'm getting. All right, we can keep writing our story, guys. All right. Let's see what else we get. I'm getting Sushi and Charles, like they're pally-pally. They're showing me that they're... Charles is still going to let Sushi play a part in all of this event. We know it's getting big now. It's all happening. We're getting the marches, the bands, the military, the big fanfare, the flags. It all go over there. Oh, God, imagine the TV. Even in Australia here, they're having special morning programs and they're going to extend everything and we're going to have documentaries galore. So maybe we need to turn the mainstream media off for a while, have a break from the Royal Kardashians. But I do feel like Charles is going to really bring Sushi into the mix. He's not going to like dismiss him while this is all going on. I still feel like Charles wants him to be on that sort of level with him, that they're both moving forward and taking the country in a strong way. I feel like, we know Charles is a WEF bloody master manipulator, but I do feel like this is starting to happen. He does want Sushi there because he wants Sushi to be associated, or he wants the people to associate Sushi with importance, because he's very important to the country moving forward. But as we know, he's very important to the reset rollout that's trying to be implemented, really. So I do feel he will incorporate him. As much as Sushi's trying to take a back seat, I still feel like he'll play a little bit of a role in this somehow. He might even say a few words, perhaps. It could be that sort of thing, because he's the Prime Minister of the UK. He's important. Charles sees him as important. So I am getting that. Sushi will love it, won't he? Oh, it's showing me Sushi's shoulders getting bigger, because you know how Sushi's quite small, isn't he? It's showing me like him putting shoulder pads in his coat to make himself look bigger. I wonder if he is. He might be. But he's going to have broader shoulders because he's going to start feeling really important. And Charles is making that happen. Hang on, let's see what else we get here. God, they're showing me coffee cups. You know how you get all the tourist stuff? They're showing me, we'll call her Rottweiler, because I know you guys like to call Camilla Rottweiler. And Charles, and these hearts on these coffee cups. Like, it's so poxy, isn't it? But they're starting to do that, and people do not like it because they were such big fans of Diana. So it kind of irks people. I do feel it irks a lot of people. I mean, we know you're always going to get your royal fans that absolutely love the royals and all this stuff. But I do feel like the younger generation isn't that into it. So all this like paraphernalia and silly hearts and coffee cups and all this garbage, it's not appealing to a lot of people anymore. Once upon a time it did. Once upon a time all the royal spoons and the teacups and this and that was really huge. But I do feel now they're having to start to change things up and modernise it a bit. They might even be making, of course they would, more of those like mouse pads with the photo on it, and more modern things, like just more modern things. I'm just getting things that'll appeal to the younger generation, if that makes sense. It's like they're moving away from the old-fashioned royal image and they're trying to market it a little bit differently now. Yeah, weird. It's just weird. I suppose they're just catering for more people to try and get that interest in the royal Kardashians again, because it's such a fizzer. Won't it be awkward with Harry being there? So awkward. Oh my God. Anyway, he will be like a spare tire tucked away in the boot of a car, is what the guides are saying after his book, Spare. He is like a spare tire just being thrown in the boot. Oh God. There's an image. It's probably true. All right, let's see if there's something else today. God, I'm getting women activists globally are coming out of the woodworks. Now, we know they are because we had that woman talking in Australia, and then she went to New Zealand, got attacked in New Zealand by, was it the trans people? I don't even know. There was that much craziness around it all. But I am getting there's more women coming forward and standing up for the women's movement. After all this transgender drag business and all being shoved and pushed down our throats, as we know, sometimes you just really question why. Like, no one has any issues with drag queens or trans. Just get on with it. It's not a big deal. But when you're trying to educate young children and read to them in the library and make them more confused than they already are, teenage kids are so confused as it is nowadays. They really are. I'll share with you that my daughter has been getting so badly bullied at school that we've decided to homeschool her now. I know a lot of you will think that's a great idea because we talk about it a bit here. In the last month also, we've actually decided to homeschool her. She's 14 and she's just been so much better since we decided to do it. She's very creative. She's an artist and very good at IT and this kind of thing. So we decided that she was getting so muddled up at school. She was getting so confused, and this is just one example. Some of her friends were going into the LGBTIQ group, but she didn't quite know where she fitted in. Did she fit into that group? But then did she fit in with this other group? But then no, she sort of didn't quite fit in, and it was getting harder and harder for her to navigate it. And her friends were going through similar things. So we had to make a conscious decision like, what do we want? What are they teaching these kids at school? You know, the teachers haven't got a leg to stand on. She was getting bullied. And to be honest, we had heaps of meetings with the school and all this kind of thing. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but it's important to know this. But the bullies get protected. For some reason, they never, ever acknowledged the bullies. And we had to do all the work. Tarada had to do all the work. Other kids had to do all the work that were getting bullied. And the bullies just continued on their merry path and nothing happened. And Tim and I were talking about it. And we actually think that sometimes the government uses, because the teachers, as we know, haven't got a leg to stand on anymore. They've got no control of kids. They really haven't. We know that's all been ripped away from them. So there's no authority, and kids don't have that kind of respect anymore for people, do they really? And it's almost like they use the bullies to control children and keep them in their place. No, you keep in your place. Don't you speak up against anything. They just let the bullies like run the school. So we knew nothing was going to change. So we've pulled her out. We're doing homeschooling, which we're much happier about. So I just wanted to share that about how these teenage kids are coping with all this LGBTIQ thing. It's bad enough, as we all know here. I know a lot of you around my age on my channel. Going through the teenage years is very hard as it is to try and find your identity. You get very lost. You're sort of a kid, but you're wanting to be an adult and you don't know who you are and you're trying to create an image. Remember at school, you'd try and work out, look cool in your clothes. Some people had become goths and some people had become, you know, just surfies or whatever. Like we're all trying to find our image. But now there's like been this whole wave of stuff that's been thrown and piled on these poor kids of this generation, and it's too much. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting now that these women are coming forward with this whole sports. Sorry, I just had to share that story because it's a big issue that's becoming more and more common. In Australia it is anyway, because I think it's nearly 30% of kids are starting to homeschool now because the bullying's got so bad. But their parents would be stressed out, so they're just taking it out on their kids, and the kids take it out at school. You know how it goes. But this is what I'm getting. More women are starting to come together in groups and stand up for their rights, particularly around women's sport, because it is insane that someone with a male body who's been given lots of medications and things to increase their strength and all this capacity are competing. It is very unfair. And people, there's a wonderful ad. If I find it, I'll share it to my Facebook page, guys, my public Facebook page, Chrissy Fitzgerald Psychic Life Coach. and it's an ad sticking up for women, and it's absolutely brilliant, saying how hard this, I think she was a runner, had worked all her life, blood, sweat and tears, training, getting up in the mornings, doing all this stuff. This was particularly around sport. And then she got beaten by a trans person at the end. Like, it's a very good ad. I will put it on my Facebook page. So this is what I'm getting back to. There's a lot more women movements. There's a lot more movements of women coming together and standing up and fighting back against these, I guess you could say, dictating tyrants who are pushing their agenda on everyone. It is just madness. It is. Honestly, the world is so out of kilter, guys, isn't it? I know you guys understand it. We often talk about it here on your comments and things. And look, I do appreciate all your comments. I learn a lot from you guys, as I hope you do from some of my predictions. But yeah, it's certainly a crazy time. And I think the biggest thing of all for all of us here is that we can't believe that the sleepwalkers and people that are taking off their bubble denial suits aren't querying all this and aren't questioning and thinking, what the hell is going on here? Why are all these things being shoved down our throat? And I don't just mean the transgender and the drag stuff. It's everything. Climate change, you have to do this, you have to do that. No more gas, you get rewarded if you do this. It's just ongoing. They have to be questioning it. They have to be taking their bubble denial suits off, guys. They have to, because it's too idiotic. They got logic for that. They didn't for the jab wheel. We know the mass psychosis, unfortunately, got them hypnotised virtually in that. But they're awake for the rest because a lot of them work in the industries. Sorry, I'm having a little rant today. Sometimes we just need a little rant, don't we? All right, let's see if there's something to close with today. God, I'm getting in excess again. I'm getting that song, They Will Never Tear Us Apart. This is all of us Terrabellians, us freedom fighter, maverick, braveheart, rebel. What are we? Terrabellians. I'm getting that song for us. They will never tear us apart because we won't allow it. We won't allow it. We've come together. Look at us fighting through here on YouTube. It's ridiculous. I've been on 2960 subscribers for 3 years probably. It goes up and goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And they're controlling all your comments. I know they're deleting some of them, so sorry guys. If I don't get back to you, it's just I haven't seen them. I get back to as many as I can. So we're still pushing through. So they will never tear us apart, guys. We'll always find each other. If I'm not here, I'll be on Rumble or somewhere. We'll always find each other because our community is important. It is. It's important for our strength, hope, and well-being, I believe. That's just me. But you guys, that's how important you guys are to me. All right, let's see what else we got to finish. Just gonna have some tea. So wintry here today. The leaves are blowing off the trees. The last of the yellow leaves, guys, are being blown off today. Be on with the fire soon. All right. Going through the jukebox, I'm getting every song known to mankind. They pull them out and then they put them back in. They pull them out, put them back, and they go, no, that's not it. And then they give me a word and I'm like, what? And then they go, no, that's not it. Hang on. God, they're giving me that In Excess song again. And they gave me a couple of paragraphs there, guys. I just had to get through it. It's that fast car driving again. We've had that a few times. Fast car driving, sleek and modern, love and laughs, 3 points away, carpet lining, seats reclining. Little words to the talk now, but just keep walking. Is that just keep walking? So we have to keep walking. Sorry, sometimes I've got to get to the punchline of the song so you guys get the message. So I'm getting that song. I'm pretty sure it's called Just Keep Walking. It's about green fields, grass and earth, broken bottles, bricks and dirt. So that's the song for us. We've got to keep walking no matter what's beneath our feet. We've got to just keep walking. Walking forward. We always get that message, leave all the garbage and rubbish behind us. We can't go back there, guys. We have to keep moving forward. I'm getting that song again. Just keep walking. I love that song. Hang on a minute, I'll see if there's one more to close with. I'm getting this message for us, and it's no fear. No fear, no fear, no fear. We can't hang on to any fear. We can't have fear. Look, even though we see all this rolling out, it can create a lot of bits of fear and anxiety in us. We know some of those alarms in the UK would have definitely done that. That would, to me, be normal to feel those things, but we've got to really work on our fear, letting our fears go. We can't have fear that, oh my God, people aren't waking up, they're not seeing us. We can't think like that. We have to keep pushing forward and pushing through and leaving the fears behind. Don't stay stuck in fear is a message from the guides, or anxiety is another one. Hang on. God, they're giving me everything. I'm getting Michael Bublé to bloody Simple Minds to bloody... I'm getting everything. They're going... They just run through everything. Hang on. Let's see if there is something to close with today. Patience is a virtue, isn't it? Oh, they're giving me the theme from Rocky today, and it's a Rocky song where he runs through the town like dun 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 dun. So they're showing all of us running through Rocky's town, whatever that was. I don't know where it was. And we're running through, and we're running up those stairs, and we're like all cheering. This is the visual that I'm getting for all of us guys today. We're having success, but this isn't about success of all the people waking up and everything's being uncovered. This is our own success. This is us being Rocky, being the winners. It's about we're winners to ourselves. We've made it through. We've gone through the worst times, like the darkness, the awakening, the anxieties, whatever we've gone through, and now we're like much stronger, like Rocky. It's like we've had to do our. I guess one of you said it the other day, and I thought it was really brilliant. What was it? It was something about spiritual exercises, or it was so beautiful, and I really loved it. Oh, I'm trying to think what it was. I remember at the time thinking, wow, that's a great description. It was something like spiritual exercises or strengthening, spiritual yoga or something like that. But that's us. We've gone through our spiritual journey and we keep growing and growing and rising to the top of the stairs like Rocky Balboa in the movie Rocky. There's a new Creed 2, I think, out too. I love all the Rocky series and I even like Creed. If you haven't seen them, go check them out because they're really good. The Creed series is just as good too because the stories all overlap. Like, it's very well done, isn't it? So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Rocky, the theme from Rocky is us. We're like spiritually strengthening ourselves. It's not about the boxing. It's like the strengthening of our spiritual being and our spiritual practices that have made us stronger and able to navigate. Honestly, you think of what we're navigating. The absolute BS clown show event of the century, and we're still doing okay. Look at us. We're living in the now. We're enjoying simple things. We're having a great time. We're enjoying music. We're dancing. We're getting back to our passions and creativities, and we're finding joy in our life. And that's what I want to leave you with today. The theme from Rocky. But it's not the physical exercise. It's the spiritual exercise that keeps lifting us up. Oh, and the guides, of course, said, lifting us up so we can stand on mountains, like the Josh Groban song as well. The guides always go back to that. They're always very proud of us for all the work that we've done, spiritually, emotionally, etc., etc. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today, guys. A couple of songs to listen to. It's Sunday morning here. I'm off to do a few domestic chores. There's always plenty of those. Hope you're all going really well. Please feel free to comment, subscribe and hit those like buttons, guys. You know, it really helps my channel a lot. And take care, and I will talk to you really soon. Bye, everyone. Oh, don't forget, I'll come on and do a reading for May. I'll do that very soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.